and welcome back to the OG Squadcast. This is episode number 4, and today we have a whole mess of people. We have an incredible bunch. It is just, the right hand side of the screen, as you'll see just now, doesn't have enough space. That's how many people we have in this episode. I will tell you that. And in this episode, we have a very, let's say a very familiar person, but not a very familiar face. And that is none other than Mrs. Fielding. You would have heard of her quite a few times on the channel if you've been following it. But without further ado, let's bring it here to the foreground and let's welcome everyone that's here today. This is Mrs. Fielding along with the OG squad and Julian.
What's up?
Yeah, see.
Oh my goodness, it is great to be
That's a
back
banger.
here with everyone. Yes, this is going to be a banger. I will tell you that. You see, Rahul is the master of calling things. Like I've said, well, no, actually, I gave that title to Rome's, but I think it's shared amongst everyone. I think, besides me. Because I'll say something will happen, and then it just won't. It won't. Just don't trust what I say, especially if it's about the future. No, don't. Honestly, don't. But I'd like to welcome back everyone here on the right-hand side of the screen. It actually does fit. Thank you, Discord. You're doing a great job. But welcoming everyone back. Yeah, it does. Like, it scales everything. I love it. You see, Discord. Quality stuff. If you're not already using Discord, use it. Use it. I'm telling you.
And you can join our Discord. Link in the description.
Yes, join the Shed 63 Gaming Discord. It's an amazing server. You see, we're plugging. Yes. Okay, but just introducing everyone. We have Rome's up here in the corner. The finger thing is on point right now. You can't even deny.
On point.
On point. I love it. Then we have Robes. We have Robes up there. We have Rahul down here. Then Sue. Then Julian. And lastly, we have Mrs. Fielding. I don't think the other guys really need too much of an introduction. I'll say that. But Mrs. Fielding, just for those of you who don't know, she's an incredible person. She's a teacher at King Edward VII School. She teaches
An amazing
physics.
teacher.
And amazing, yes. Paint it in the sky. Get the plane and just spell it out with the smoke. Go ahead and do that. I will do that one day. I promise you. I will organize it. If I'm not flying the plane, I will make sure I organize. And I tell someone else to do it.
At least I know you're not looking for extra marks.
Nah. What extra marks are you gonna get? Like that extra 2% just to get 100.
Why not?
Like, yeah. Yes.
It's worth a try. It's worth a try.
No, always. It's always worth a try. 2% is still 2%. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I will tell you all of you guys. Oh man! But besides being an amazing teacher, she's just an incredible life coach, a person with so much advice to give. I think just maybe about 2% of which you'll see in today's episode, because we've got a lot to talk about. I think, leading up to the start of the episode, we were saying, yikes, we're going to have too much to talk about. We're going to have to cut it short to keep it to an hour. To keep it to an hour, because we can talk for years.
Yeah, the topics are quite interesting as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. And you will see that. You will see that for sure. And if you guys remember back, I think last year sometime, we actually had a little fundraiser for Mrs. Fielding. And that was a time when I just want to thank the entire Shen 63 gaming community, all of you guys, whether you followed the channel and you saw it or you just got told by someone else. Thank you so much for supporting that. It really did go a long way. And today we have Mrs. Fielding here. So she can talk to you guys. You can get to know her more, and you can actually get to know just why we all praise her so much. Because it's not because we want extra marks. It really isn't. It isn't. I'll say that. I will say that. But I think
there's nothing more to give but getting 90s already.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's Sue's thing right there. And then the rest of us were like,
yeah.
We're looking for those that little bit extra. But I think, besides being a teacher, I'd like to talk about back in the day, the origins. The little Mrs. Fielding that like I said, back around that age when I was chilling with a PS2 controller, back in the day, Mrs. Fielding was an avid gamer herself, and she specialized in Counter-Strike. Believe it or not. And this was before CS:GO. This was before CS:GO. This was like classic CS. Honestly.
This is the landing time, guys.
The LAN times, exactly. And we'd like to know about that. I mean, what were your experiences of LAN gaming back in the day?
Yeah, so my brother's an avid gamer. Still to this day, he's playing particularly World of Warcraft. That's always been his thing.
Wow.
So yeah, it started, I mean, obviously with back in the days, the Mario Brothers, all of that sort of thing on PlayStation.
Wow.
The original, the one and only PS1.
Yes.
We never had our own. We always had to see my grandfather when we went to visit. We could play GTA or any of those sort of things as we went along. But yeah, I started with Duke Nukem. Heard of that game?
What?
Finding the blue key, the green key. Come on, it's epic.
My goodness.
Then it moved to Need for Speed, the first one.
Oh, yes.
EA Games finally came around.
Yes.
And type in secret code, drive as a log. Or 24, whatever.
The graphics did not even exist.
No, but it was awesome because you could play in two-player. You know, you didn't have to go online to play. You could actually just sit next to each other, and someone would turn the W's and you
the days of split screen. Wow. I don't think I ever used that.
So then
I don't.
I think like Sims, Age of Empires, Half-Life, and then Counter-Strike.
Half-Life, yo, the new Half-Life is some other kind of fire, yo. That.
Yeah. It was quite a mission to organize LAN because it would require like 5 of us bringing computers, and then you need to make sure you had someone who could put properly together. Yeah. But epic, and like competition where you had to go to the arcade and to the internet cafe, and you could win prizes for playing Counter-Strike inside the venue.
Yes. No, I'm telling you, I will tell you, that is something that I've wanted to do. I've wanted to play LANs just for fun, honestly, like get a few mates together. And I think that is in the near future. So please, do keep your eyes out for that. That might be coming very soon. I will tell you something. Last year, I was actually supposed to go to a LAN myself. And then they're like, oh, guys, we had to cancel it. There weren't enough players.
Oh, yeah.
You see, dedication doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. And that was for Apex too. That was for Apex. Why? Why aren't there enough players? Honestly, like I couldn't understand that. It blew my mind.
They need cross-platform.
Yeah, true. Cross-platform. Then I can play with my boy Juliet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. I love it. Oh my goodness. But talking about like this, well, let's say a nice segue into our next point of discussion for today's episode. I'd like to talk about, well, specifically you, Mrs. Fielding. Like, what do you feel? What are your opinions about how gaming has transitioned from like the early days, like back when you were, competing in Counter-Strike, to now, like, across everything, talking about like genres and graphics and like the devices and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I think it's absolutely amazing what's available right nowadays. I mean, from games for Aaron, as a 4-year-old, he can download stuff, he can play simulations and stuff.
True.
But at the same time, I'm also like afraid at what you guys get exposed to at such a young age.
Yeah, true.
I mean, when graphics were so poor, it was just a game. Whereas now it's so close to reality, it's actually quite daunting for young people. And I don't think they realize the age restriction on a game.
Yeah.
Well, I was watching a YouTuber play the new Last of Us that came out not so long ago, and obviously that's like leading the pack when it comes to graphics now, just because it looks amazing on the consoles that are old generation, and imagine what's going to come in the new generation. And PS5. The YouTuber I was watching was like actually in some situations like getting uncomfortable with the type of graphics that were there.
Yeah.
Not because like a personal uncomfortableness, but like the gore or like the blood and stuff was so realistic that he noted it and said like it's become a whole new type of violence in games.
Yeah.
Yeah, true facts.
So,
and I think like the sounds in that are so good now as well. Like that background music gets exciting. Then your mother walks in and you're told and you want to have a heart attack.
Dude, Rose can attest to that. Oh my goodness. No, but I mean, sound design, that's a very big thing right now. I mean, okay, you guys will be seeing this. Before this episode goes live. Another one of those things where like we release it later, but you would have seen something before. So we've got to think about all of this stuff. But basically on Sunday, you guys will be seeing The Last of Us Part 1. The first episode would have been released. If you're watching this podcast and you haven't watched that episode, definitely do go and watch it. It's taking the form of a video series, something you can watch like a TV show, like at the end of the day. And you can follow it as I play through it. And on purpose, I did not watch any content or like look up the plot or research it in any way. So all of my reactions are completely organic. I will tell you that. I mean, Julian is the tank when it comes to info about that game because he's watched like so much content around it. But I told him, don't tell me. Yeah.
And I'm just going to say it now, Chanel. Watching that footage, some of it's very frustrating just because you're so new to
it. Yeah, I know. Because I'm like, what do I do here? And then like,
I'm just sitting there like, go there, Chanel, go there.
There's a ladder there, dude. Pick it up. And I'm like, wait, can I jump this? No, dude, no. I am not an experienced vertical jumper. I can't do that. I can't. Okay. So, I mean, you guys will notice that I was very new to it, and the control scheme, I did actually comment on it. It's very different, and that's so nice because I feel that throughout a console's history, like if you look at like let's say the PS4, when it came out until now, like control schemes have changed, and it's so nice though to be going back and experience that legacy style of controls. It's really cool. And that's something I really love.
You don't get that much anymore.
Yeah, you don't.
Romeo, what do you play? Predominant.
Yeah, dude, Rome.
Sorry?
What do you play? What's your major game? Like, what's your favorite one to play?
So right now I'm playing Minecraft on my phone because I'm not allowed to use the PlayStation right now. Matric and all, so busy studying. But normally I'd be playing Call of Duty.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
That's
yes, sir. Yo, dude.
There we go.
Link up in Warzone. Yikes. Try and get a second dub. Try and get a second dub because we only got one. Oh my goodness, it's changed so much. It's really changed a lot. It's changed a lot. I mean, I went back the other day and I was like, dude, these guys are on some other level. Yeah, they're on some other level, dude.
No, from the beginning I was getting clapped.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I can't relate.
But then again, you were on PC though.
You're in the PC Warzone.
Yeah, you see PC, that's the thing. No. That's the thing, yikes. When you cross over to PC, you just check laser aim, hacks.
Everything is when you use your game, PC is not still. Like, nah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, Ms. Fielding, I know you've been around gaming for a while now. So would you say that you've noticed a change in like the genres that have become more popular over time, or have you seen that mostly stayed the same? Or
well, I think a lot of it's very similar in the sense that, I mean, you've always got your sports games which always survive. Your fighting games like your Tekken and them, that's always going to be around.
Yeah, like Tekken 12.
Finding driving games is quite tough now.
Yes,
like
GT, Gran Turismo, let's go, represent.
Yeah, but other than that, you can't just drive. You can't just log on and race. You have to now play it in a series or in a game, which is quite a weird thing. So for younger kids, it's kind of frustrating in that regard.
Yeah, true.
Throwback stream, GT.
Hey, dude, GT, oh my goodness, dude, GT Sport has become like, dude, I promise you, the driving lines that the other guys find, I'm like, dude, how?
They're pro.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm going there. I'm like, yes, I had such a perfect lap, dude. I'm going to qualify in pole position. And then I show there, I'm like in 12th. I'm like,
I remember I used to grind that game. I mean, like, you were even posting during the exam.
Yo, no, dude, like, yo, that was some other kind of thing. Because the thing is, like, you just hop in, right? And it's an online race. Like, you dedicate, I think, like half an hour or something. And, like, you get into a race. But that half an hour is super intense. Like, it's so good. Like, I'm not going to lie. I feel that it sort of cultivates a great deal of concentration, because you like follow, you like, okay, this is maybe an endurance race. I'm gonna be driving for like 30 minutes. I need to look at fuel, I need to look at tires, I need to look at, like, always getting the best times. I need to monitor fuel mixes, the strategy, like, do I brake late going into this corner, or am I gonna go into the wall, that kind of thing. So everything is so calculated. And that's what I loved about that, honestly. Like, those kind of games, they are very rare, but when you find them, they are absolute gems. Diamonds in the rough. In the rough. In the rough. Nice. We shall keep that in. That's another blooper. That is blooper number 2. Yes. I mean, I don't even have to like create the bloopers. They just come along, because like, when I start talking, I'm like, yes, okay. Thinking 2 sentences ahead, yeah?
No, like 7 sentences ahead.
Oh. Neil already knows how this podcast is going to end.
Because then you can't anticipate the next move. Everybody will be ahead of you.
Yeah, true.
For once.
Yeah. Oh, no, why do you say for once? That just makes like, it's like, yeah, no, dude, you're right up there. No, I'll tell you, I've got so much further to go. And I think moving into our next topic, I'd like to talk about, here on the podcast, we've actually spoken about how the lockdown and like the whole messed up COVID situation has really affected us as students, right? But I'd like to know from you, Mrs. Fielding, how has it affected you as a teacher? And I think, like, you have a very special case, which you can talk about.
Well, it's a really unique experience in general. Yeah, I'll tell you about my box now.
Yeah, the box.
I feel like I should do a wheel and I can become a hamster and get fit. But aside from that, I think it's been really good. I think it pushed the fourth industrial revolution in a sense. So it's made teachers a lot more like, you have to know what you're teaching, because if you're on an online platform, there's no room for mistakes.
Yeah,
which I think is really good.
Yeah.
Very accountable, which is fantastic. I've learned how to deal with all the different types of formats with tutoring online, which has been great. And I think you can get a lot done. It's shown that there's actually a lot of benefit to it. But I just also think it's also kind of broken the barrier between teachers and kids, because we need to be open for them to message us at any time of day to be able to help them. And for some staff, it's not okay, because they're like sitting with their own families and they don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, true.
I enjoy it, but I know for a lot that's something that they really don't enjoy, is just their own personal details going out. But I think, I mean, as a cancer patient, there's a real fear as to this whole COVID thing, and watching it's real, it's moving, it's happening. So going away was kind of daunting, and I'd offered to actually teach online with a video stream so that the kids could talk to me and respond like we're doing now. But they decided that they're going to spend a fair amount of money to build me a really awesome, expensive box. Made all of like plastics with 3 air filters on the top, so that it's making sure that I'm as safe as can be. But the biggest thing is, like, I have to be in by 7 and I can only leave until the kids are off the grounds. So if I don't have any free lessons, there's no going to the bathroom, there's nothing like that. So it's the planning ahead that I've had to learn to do.
No, but then how do you do that? Like, how do you
maybe they can put a bathroom.
That's what I want to know. That's actually very true. Yes. Yes. We need engineers for that. It's fine. I'm an aspiring one. Anyone else watching it, go build it. Go make the patent for it right now.
Chanel, design it in CAD.
Oh, yes. Dude, we are going to start CAD. We're going to start CAD. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. It's fine. Like, we also know Harry Potter. We also know Harry Potter very personally.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's been good. I think it's actually good for education, actually. More than anything. I think it's been more good than bad.
No, honestly, I think that's a very interesting opinion because, I mean, like you said, ma'am, I think like other teachers really, like most of them aren't comfortable with the whole thing. They're like, yeah, okay, I'm sitting down now, I am chilling, and now your phone rings and you're like, wait, I've got to help this child now. He's writing a test tomorrow or in 2 days. Do I tell him no? Well, him or her no? Or do I be like, okay, get up, help them, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
I'm fearful for the kids because, like, for science and math, I can't give the feedback that I normally give from being able to see how they answer their questions.
Yes.
And I don't think children are, or okay, let's not say children, the youth, I don't think are ready to be able to handle the responsibility that they need to take in a sense of actually reading properly. They're not homeschool trained.
Yes.
That's
So
fine,
but most have just had a lacquer holiday while we've worked every single day. Like this year's been tough for teachers because there's no break, nothing.
Yeah.
So as soon as we were in lockdown, we started preparing the materials to go in the Google Classroom, and I mean the first break we're going to get is August, so we haven't had a holiday.
Yikes.
So I think that's something.
And I know the guys have been telling me that. They're like, dude, you've been chilling for 3 weeks. You've been blown. You've been chilling. Every night we're on a house party and you're so energetic. And then, like, you look at us and you ask us, what's happening? What's happening? And then they tell me, like, dude, are you going to work 8 hours a day at school? I'm like, no, I'm chilling. But no, honestly, I really feel for like both parties here. I'm talking about like teachers and students, and I think it's taught people, or it's actually, I want to say it's forced people to learn new skills in terms of managing time and be more disciplined and that kind of stuff. Something that I feel most of the people, like most of the students and the teachers, have like risen to the challenge for. I feel they've done it very well. And for the people that haven't, I'd like to tell you right now, and with Mrs. Fielding here as well, like just a little bit of motivation. I'd like to say it isn't easy at all. I won't lie. In the first 2 weeks, I said this, I think, in the first episode. I said for the first 2 weeks of lockdown, I was sitting there, I was like, yeah, I got an essay due, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's 2,000 words.
And then 2,000 words. And then I was like, okay, I need a quick fix. I need a solution. Who do I call? Who do I speak to? I speak to Fakwaffle. I speak to Rahul. And then we sit on the phone for like 3 hours. And I'm like, yes, let's smash the whole 2,000 word essay immediately. That's it. Done. All the motivation you need. And the time just goes. And I feel that's something that all of you guys can take advantage of out there. Like anyone that you feel you can spend a lot of time with just talking about, even if it's stupid stuff. Like, okay, I'll tell you, it always goes to stupid stuff. Like, especially with the boys. We talk about the dumbest stuff. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Where you start and where, go to expose.
It always, especially my conversations, it always ends up super deep by the end of it.
It gets deep.
Yeah, but it's important during this time, because like you don't like the people, or there's a lot of people you're limited from seeing during this time and stuff. And I think also, it's a time you need it the most because you need you need to get through like something to help you get through this time, because it's like it is difficult for a lot of people.
Well, humans are social creatures. I mean, we're designed to like work with others.
Oh, dude, in English, we were doing at home.
Did they say that? Did they bring that up? Yes. Yes.
I think that's the point I fell asleep.
It always comes back. Raul's like, I fell asleep.
It was so
dude, double English on Friday.
Remember, it's like these prisoners that during the apartheid era, and then they communicate by sign language.
Sign language, dude, and the murder.
Oh, yeah, I remember that poem.
I remember that poem. That poem was fire. That poem was fire. I won't lie. I love that poem.
You guys watch that Harry Potter movie where he escaped from Pretoria prison? Off topic here, but
no. Wait.
You must watch it. It's really good.
Oh,
Escape from Victoria or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Escape from Victoria. I've seen the
Like
trailer
a
for it. I haven't
parody.
watched it yet.
No, I haven't.
It looks very
It's
good.
sick. Very good.
Okay, that's another thing on my list. Yes. Yes. I've been looking for things to do. I won't lie. I've been looking for things to do.
Well, yeah. You want to come to clients? You're welcome to.
No.
I mean, it's all about sharing your knowledge with others. Come on, you can do it.
I'll be sitting there, I'll be like, guys, hello. I am Shins. Today, I will teach you physics. Oh, yeah. I am Mr. Bierker. Yes. And then everyone just started laughing. I know, like, I used to give those mini speeches in house class, like, in the morning, and then everyone would sit there and be like,
oh, yeah.
This is inspiring. But oh, yeah,
So the thing is, even though we were in matric, and you guys probably know it now, like Sue and UX, as much as it looks like it, the grade 8s and stuff don't respect you. It's all like,
oh yeah.
It's like you say this inspirational thing or like speech every day, like Chanel does, but no one's listening.
That's very
Like,
true. I did pick up on that. Yeah, very true. No, like I saw that. I saw that so hard.
It depends. Like you can't just speak to them and expect them to listen to you. You also got to develop like a connection with them. I felt like whenever I got to know someone, then they automatically respected you. Like if you treated them as a good friend, but then you had them on your side.
Dude, but you know what's also interesting about like the younger grades though? It's not when you're there that they'll like recognize you or like
it's outside.
But
it's when you're not there.
Leave, and then they're looking back and then they think to themselves, who was actually memorable? And then that's
very true.
Because that's how it worked for me.
Very true. No, honestly, like I think I can definitely agree with that. That is that is so true. I think I need to tell the fact checkers to use that as a template.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, dude, no, Robo, you know this, dude. Like Romes is sitting there. I know, I can see he's contemplating. He's like, I'm taking notes. Yes. Oh my goodness. But I think on another note, Mrs. Fielding, you mentioned this earlier. Being a cancer patient, I'd like to ask you, if you're okay with this, like to share some words of inspiration with all of the viewers out there, because I know you're very good at this.
I try. So in 2016, we had just decided, I just had Aaron, so we decided we were going to move down to live near my mom so he could just grow up with Granny nearby.
Nice.
Because unfortunately, the in-laws passed away just like my father-in-law passed away just after we got married. So we didn't have much time with Mr. Fielding's family. And so we thought, well, in order to have, space and time, I'd like to go back to where I came from. So go and teach at my school. And then my mom's around and all of that. And then in February, my father was diagnosed with cancer. And it was quite a shock to the family and all of that. Then March, I wasn't feeling really well. I was really tired. I kept saying to my mom when she drove me to school, I'd be like, Mom, it feels like someone's just like drained all the energy out of me. I'd fall asleep while Mr. Fielding was talking to me. And normally I'm quite good with it. Normally I can keep a conversation flowing quite easily. And so we just went past the doctor and I could just see in her face the second she just did a normal examination. She just said, I need to send you for a colonoscopy, but don't worry, it'll be okay. I just I literally cried the whole way home, and I said to Colin, my husband, I was like, I've got cancer. And he says, how do you know? Why do you always think of the worst? And I said, well, I just know. I saw it in her face. But let's go back to my doctors in Pretoria so that they can at least, I had a gynecologist who had just delivered Aaron. And so we knew we could deal with him, and he knew what was happening in my body at that stage. So I said, let's rather go back to who we know. And so I was diagnosed March 2016. My dad died in April 2016, so it was a bit of a smash to me in terms of confidence then, because I wasn't able to see him from my diagnosis because it was too dangerous to go near each other. But what was really amazing is I was the youngest patient in South Africa that was ever diagnosed with colorectal cancer at that stage.
Yikes.
And so at the age of 27, all the doctors were saying the youngest they'd seen was a week before, which was 33. And so I knew I was in good hands, which was amazing. So I literally was diagnosed the Friday. The Tuesday I was in the surgery already.
Yikes.
They removed everything. Decided, okay, we're going to go really like hard on it because I'm young. So most cancer patients take 5 years. I'm still working on getting through my 5 years. But that's normally what they like. An oncologist never allowed to give you more lifespan when they fill in a form or anything like that. So they're only allowed to say
that's very interesting. I won't lie, and I will say you have gotten through. Well, I'd like to say like that 5 year window. You have done it incredibly well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fights with medical aid because I just left a government school and got into private medical aid and they didn't want to pay for things. So we took a while to start with all my radiation and stuff. But it was the hardest thing, I think, was through that year we kind of had to split as a family because Mr. Fielding had to get work. So Kez offered him a job and I had to stay with my mom because I had to finish my treatment. And you can't change doctors in the middle of it.
Oh, okay.
5-month-old baby being in hospital, he wasn't allowed to see me was probably the hardest part. And then not being able to pick him up when I got home. But yeah, I mean, through it all, I just kind of realized who was there all along. Like the most amazing people arrived at the hospital to see me. The people that I taught from my first year of teaching found me on Facebook and they all just messaged and said, there's no ways this should be happening to you. They came to the hospital to see me. And it was incredible to see that you actually don't realize the influence you have in people's lives.
Yes.
And so from that day, I was going to be, most cancer patients will sit at home and say, okay, I've only got 5 years to live. And they'll either stop living or they'll go and live, but with 5 years in their head the whole time. And I decided, no, I'm going to live for at least 40 minimum. I'm hoping to do a bit more. And then make sure that I have quantity, not quantity of life, but quality of life.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, the power of the mind in that chair makes a big difference. So, like, what's really been cool for me is one of the nurses the other day says, she goes, if I ever need a counselor, I just phone you and tell you to come for chemo, and then you sort out everybody who's here.
Let's go.
I've taught people how to gamble at chemo. We've done blackjack. But you know, you've got to have joy and you've got to have hope. And I've had a few people who have always said you must expect the worst and rather be surprised. But yeah, it was okay. It was tough, but we got through 2016. But 2018, when I was re-diagnosed, taking it to stage 4, now it was in my lung. They had to cut my whole lung open, take it out, remove it. Sure. That was a bit of an eye-opener because now I'm like, God, I'm only 2 years in. Why would you now do this again? And I think for me it was okay, but I saw the toll it took on my family. So like for me that was harder, is that I couldn't be the provider for my family like I wanted to. And so I actually his staff were amazing. We had people delivering food for us every single night. I'd have people coming to babysit Erin. And I would end up sitting with them and they're like, Rob, you must go to bed. And I'm like, no, I just need human company. Like I'm stuck in a house the whole time. I just actually want to see another human.
Very similar to what we have now.
Yeah, this is what you need. So lockdown for me now is great, guys. I have my family and I feel good. So it's been amazing in comparison to what I had. I decided that hope is what I want to share with the world, and I don't want you guys to ever have to be diagnosed with something to appreciate what you've got. So
Yikes.
Carry on living life. I teach because I love it, not because I have to be there. And I think I've become a better teacher since I was diagnosed because I value it so much more.
Wow, that's amazing. I think, guys, right now it is only appropriate. Link in the description. I will say, Mrs. Fielding's YouTube channel, go over there, go sub, go hit that bell. Every Saturday, 11 o'clock in the morning, go and watch those live streams. They absolutely bang. You will leave there half an hour later and you will be a changed person. I promise you, in the best possible way. I can attest to that. Also, Mrs. Fielding, I think for the people out there that don't know of, the multitude of ways that you are there to help. Would you like to? I'll say, would you like to advertise anything like the flashcards you've made, or like the things you're doing outside of like the actual classroom in order to help other people? Like for the people watching this. There we go. Yes, Rose. Yes, Rose. Yes. He's got the song for you. What a tag.
Every time I have treatments, it's like 50,000 rand. So it's a bit of a smasher on the pocket. And obviously, no matter what medical aid you're on, they've capped it now. I don't know why they've put a cap on cancer treatment, but they have.
That's unfair.
So I try and do tutoring online, and then I do a lot of things like these flashcards, which just help you memorize all the definitions. It's 40% of your exam, so at least you've got a guarantee.
Yes.
20%.
Guys, I will tell you, you're looking for easy marks. Go get those flashcards. Hit up Mrs. Fielding over on Instagram. That will also be in the description. All of it.
Can I actually order one from you, please?
Perfect. I'll have it there on Monday.
Yes. Guys, you see, speedy delivery as well. You see the expedience. It's there. It's there. I will tell you that. No, honestly. Like, guys, please to go and support Mrs. Fielding, an amazing person. And I think another thing that I feel all of us go to, like, so we have Mrs. Fielding, right? And then when there isn't Mrs. Fielding, not to say that she's ever not there, but when we decide to go for the alternative, I think we all turn to a little something that everyone is very familiar with, and I think that's music. And I think that the power of music is something that you can also talk about for hours, but for the sake of this podcast, we shall condense it greatly. I think it's an integral part of everyone's life, especially in like this day and age, where there's things like Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, Deezer, all those kind of things. There's so many avenues. Even on YouTube, I won't lie, some of the best music I've heard is on YouTube, because you can't find it on Spotify and that kind of thing. And Rahul agrees, because we always do this. We're like, dude, did you hear the song? Did you hear it? Did you? I'm like, yes, of course, dude. I am something
you can find by just typing in lyrics.
Yeah, true. It's incredible. It is amazing. Yikes. And I think on that note, I think music also varies greatly from person to person. That's the amazing thing about it. And it has such great power to transform people's lives. And I think the genres that everyone enjoys, it contributes greatly to that, I will say. So I think starting at the top, in the top right corner, right there, the finger game is on point. It is on point. I will say that. You can't. You'll never catch me getting it wrong ever again. So I think starting with Romes, what is your favorite genre of music for the people out there?
Okay, so I listen to a whole lot of music, but all-time favorite is probably rock music.
Yes.
Just because of my dad. I've been listening to it since I was born.
Legend. Favorite artist, Rose. Hit us out.
Favorite artist. So I like. I don't know if they count as rock right now.
Yeah.
But my favorite band is 21 Pilots.
Oh yes.
Nice.
I know Julian agrees. Julian approves. He's like, yes, this is my man. This is my man right here. Let's go. Absolutely.
They did some poetry.
Yeah.
But,
Let's move on to Mrs. Fielding. What do you really enjoy? Take it away.
I like a variety of everything. I think because I play a lot, so for me it's just about the music actually.
Another talent.
But I'm very aware of what I listen to.
Another talent. Take notes.
I remember the one time we had the marimba band playing at school, and they were amazing.
Oh,
and
dude, what? Yeah,
right after, I started walking to class. I started walking to class, and you just hear someone playing on the drums, and I'm like, dude, I ran to the middle with my friends, and then it's Mrs. Fielding absolutely breaking down with the drums. That was so
good. I was not gonna lie.
Yeah, awesome. Absolute legend in so many ways. You see, this is
would be punk rock.
Ooh.
I mean,
the Ramones.
Yes. The
is my epic of epic.
Yeah.
But it's because of the drums, you know? It's got to have good drums. That's it.
Yeah, the beat. I think this goes directly into Rahul.
Yeah, that's the OG equivalent of beat. Actually, the drum beat. Like, yes.
Dude, Rahul is all about the beat, dude. He's like, yo, did you listen to the song? Like, you might not like it. You might not like it for certain things, but the beat though, and then I'm like, okay, I'll listen to it, and then I'm like, yo, dude, this beat bangs. Let's go. You know, dude, like Rahul hit us up with the plug for the best playlist in town.
Yes, always.
Dude, you already know. Okay, well, like I listen to everything, but like because like when I started listening to music, it was on the courts, like on the squash court, so it had to like it had to have that hype component.
Let's go.
So like, and then dude, you introduced me to Future House, dude.
Future House music. FHM.
Yeah, it's very good, dude. But then we have hip hop, rap.
Yeah.
Dude, and then sad boy. Like I don't know why.
Sad boy vibes for Rahul every day of the week. You'll tell us like, yo, dude, the song bangs. They were like, dude, why are your favorite songs all sad boy vibes? It's like, nah, dude, I don't know.
I didn't even realize that until Vino put it out there.
Until Vino told you.
Your favorite songs are sad boy, and then I was like, dude, they just, I don't know.
Sue.
Yeah, that's me.
Tell us.
Same. I like a whole lot of types of music, but
nice.
I think the one genre that resonates with me most has to be, oldies.
Oh yes, yes. You see, guys, this is another reason why Sue is the most classic oak you will ever find. I will tell you this, dude. Like, if you saw this guy at MD. Oh my goodness, dude! You would think this is OG Leonardo DiCaprio. OG. I will tell you that. This guy, sense of style, dude. It's just like, it's not vintage. I will tell you, it's not vintage because he's not that old. He's not that old. Okay, relax. Before you start typing in the comments, like, no, dude, this guy's old. No, he isn't. He's not. Dude, he's just got that style, dude. Oh my goodness. Absolute legend. That's why we love him so much. Okay.
He messy purple suit, like,
yeah. What? Oh my goodness, dude.
Everybody.
The way the guy rocks. The way the guy rocks a purple suit. Okay, you know what I'll do? Actually, I was gonna show you this on my phone, but I think I'll just like edit it. I'll edit it in somewhere. I'll put a photo of the suit that I wore, and then you can compare it to the suit that he wore. Sue, I want to need that photo. And then we can vote on it. We'll put a poll. We'll put a poll on the video, and you can say which one looks better, and you just check. It'll be a resounding 90-10 split to Sue.
You want to lose, okay?
What do you mean I want to lose, dude? I know I'm gonna lose.
Dude, that's the whole joke. Pistachio bow tie, like, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay, bro. Okay, it's fine. I understand. You want to like have a few jabs at the boy, but the boy will take it. It's okay. And Julian hit us up with the plug.
Oof. I mean, it honestly depends on the mood. Like, if I'm going for like a run or something, it's like Slipknot or like your metal bands. But when it comes to like favorite bands of all time, you got to go with like your Led Zeppelins and the Beatles.
Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins.
I love
those types of classic bands that are going to go down for like going to go down in the history books.
Go down in the history books. Yeah. No, I love that. Honestly, dude. You see, this is another thing about the OG squad plus Julian plus Mrs. Fielding plus every person that pretty much watches this channel. Everybody's so different, yet we all get along so well. And that brings me to my favorite genre of music. I left myself for the last, not because it is the best. I'm not going to say that, but like, you know. I'm kidding. Always. I think for me, it's EDM, FHM, so like anything electronic, anything with an insane beat, stuff that like when you hear the drop, in that moment, your life changes. That it is very hard to find. I will tell you that. I have searched the cosmos, and I will do it more once hopefully once I get into space. Then I'll like find alien electro dance music.
Oh,
you just hit up
those kind of Lithuania HQ. The playlist on Spotify, the Lithuania HQ has some insane music, and I think anything that just gets the blood pumping, gets the hype going, and I feel gives you that drive, to do whatever you need to do and actually just get into it. But there is a side to Shens that is very chill, where he's just sitting and he's like, I am on an island, but I am not on an island. There is that, but that kind of stuff is like deep house and like chill house, just like chill music generally.
Lo-fi.
Yeah, lo-fi.
Dude, sometimes chill is good at school, dude, when you like just not feeling a period, dude.
Yeah, true.
Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Rahul's strategies.
Dude, my strategies are don't even see.
The blazer pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why is his hand just there?
Oh, we think we're so clever during class trying to hide it.
Yeah.
And the way, like, I know Mrs. Fielding's sitting here right now, and she's like, I can see through all of your lies.
Yeah.
I can see through all of
it. Anyway, but at least you're quiet. It's fine. Listen to your music.
I know you're listening, so just go ahead.
Yeah, true. You can't get away from it,
The mask wearing that, it just made it so much easier now, because, like, you can just, like, cover it up. And like, one upside of wearing masks and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, very true. I'm not gonna lie, like, I cannot handle it. I don't know how you guys are doing it, honestly, because I've worn that thing for like 5 minutes.
Dude, I even died with that thing. Like, I need to get a visor.
It's literally I am a fish and I'm chilling out of water and I'm like,
I'm a fish, but I'm not a fish.
On an island, but not an island.
It's gonna be a quote, guys. You can literally put it out. Like, you can quote me on this. It'll be, I am on an island, but I am not on an island. Shen 63, 2020. Maybe one day when we make merch here for the channel, that will be on a shirt. It will.
Ooh, yes.
Well, I'm calling it today. That's one thing that I'll call, and that will actually come true because I'm fully in control of it.
Well, we've all had some type of struggle in our lives. Obviously, Miss Fielding with her diagnosis, and like the guys that are in matric now having to deal with not being in the ideal situation for matric. The same with Chanel, with obviously having to do a lot of the work at home instead of like at a university with lectures and online lessons. What's something that you follow that's made like waking up every day a little bit easier? Like a quote that you say to yourself, or something that you just follow.
Oh, that's nice.
Personally, to get yourself through like your tough times.
Dude, that sticker, tough times.
Yeah, tough times never last. Dude, that's the first thing I thought about. I was like, tough times never last.
When you have Jacob Zuma, you're like, it's funny, dude.
Oh my goodness, dude, memes are. I won't lie. Memes are actually the solution to so many people's problems. I don't know how, but it's become a thing. I promise you. And if you do go to memes, carry on using the memes because they really do help. I won't lie. But I think Mr. Fielding is the expert in this. So what would you say?
Oh no.
So when it's like really tough and you're really struggling, the one thing that I used to do is like when you set your alarm, you can actually label your alarm. Yes. And so I'd put something on there saying, completely awesome, have an epic day. So when I wake up, I get to see that straight away.
Oh,
that's nice.
So any sort of positive declaration, I would just put on my phone from the beginning, so that I get excited to get my alarm instead of the other way around.
Wow, yeah, because you're like, dude, I hate that thing, dude. It sounds so bad. What?
Dude, that's literally
No, like, I won't lie. I think recently, when was it? Like, I think like last week, I just started getting some of the bangers. You know the bangers? Good tunes. Put that as the alarm sound, and you're like, yeah, cool.
I need to change my mind. Just like the sound of like the fire siren, because like I had to choose like the most
The most annoying one.
Unpleasant
most offensive one.
You wake up. Like those nice ones you sleep through.
I think the whole OG squad can attest to this because I mean the amount of times they actually like managed to get toothpaste on my forehead while I was sleeping. Oh my god! I literally sleep like a log.
That was amazing.
No, I remember.
What is your first reaction always to just smudge it?
Like,
yeah. No, dude, but that's what Vino did too. Like, guys, if you watch the VAC vlog, you will see that's what Vino did too. I mean, we got him on VAC, and then he was like, and he's like, and then I'm like, we got him, and then I'm like, wait, Vino, you did wake up, right? Like, why? Why would I ask that? Then he's like, Mrs. Fielding says she uses positive declarations. Rome's, what would you say? What would you say you look to in the morning as your go-to to like get the energy to like get out of bed and go?
Well, what I do when I wake up in the morning is when I listen to my alarm. Normally, my parents get irritated with me because I put like a song which I enjoy.
Yeah.
And it gets me motivated for the day.
Nice.
So it gets progressively louder, but I just let it play.
Oh,
so I listen to the whole song before I wake up.
That's actually really good. That's really good. I won't lie. That's really good. I think I need to like incorporate all of these things into one and then just get like the best of compilation, method. Stealing ideas. No, it's not stealing, it's attributing ideas, but with credit. It's like it's like doing a bibliography. So referencing, no plagiarism. Yeah. No plagiarism here, huh? Nothing. Okay, Rabu, I mean, you've said like you've talked about your alarm, but what would you say you do? Because I know like you are that guy like I have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'll go to sleep at like 12.
Dude,
yeah,
I can't control it, but like I don't know. For me, it would probably be like I don't know. I think like you have it's all what I'd want to achieve. So I think that's like my motivation.
I love that. I love
not just
that.
for waking up, motivation. Just like your, just as you progress through life. Because like I mean, like I've told you this before. Like I've been at birds for like since I was 6. So it's just like it's nice because like everything for me
longer than me.
Like full. Like the pieces are there. You just gotta like connect them. So like I'll be like, okay, I need to get like.
Yikes.
These marks, whatever, to get here, and then from there we can, do your whatever you want to study, and then move on from there. So that's me.
Yeah, I think if I summarize that, I hope I have the right words here. No, that's perfect, Raul. I think if I summarize that, you could say life as a jigsaw puzzle.
I mean, up to a point, because I haven't you haven't thought about everything, and you can't. You can't.
There's all the unforeseen things,
And dude, I say all the time, you just roll with the punches.
But no, dude, Stu, what would you say you do in the morning when you wake up?
Every morning, my ambition wakes me up, bro. Nothing else.
Dude. Classic Tank, dude. He's like,
I don't need my my mind's already up and racing when I need it.
Yikes, that flex, dude. That flex is insane.
No, it's not flex. It's true. If anyone knows what they want and really wants to achieve something, as Raul said, dude, you'll get yourself up.
No, very true. I'm not gonna lie. I think I don't want to say you stole what I was gonna say because I've been doing it so that I come at the end. But like, yeah, I'll just say my answer is gonna be something along those lines. But Julian, dude, what would you say?
Oh, mine's not really like something I do in the morning, but more like a just overall type of mental attitude. So in Matric, I read a book called The Art of War. I mean, it's a very major,
very popular,
yeah, and it just like helped me change the mindset that I had at that time to like more of a optimistic one.
Nice.
And just following the idea of the like PMA type of thing, which stands for positive mental attitude for those who don't know. And it's just instead of seeing the world as like only the bad things, which is very easy to do these days, you look at the news and you can easily fall into this sense of despair or depression even, just because you feel like nothing is going to be right after this pandemic or even during this pandemic. And it's just really taking the time to be optimistic instead of pessimistic and realize what you are fortunate to have and what you're lucky enough to be acquainted with, instead of some people who have it much worse off than we do.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's that type of mindset that helps just keep me in check.
No, that's really good.
Simon Sinek has a book called Know Your Why.
Yes.
And that's just revolutionized leadership and industry. And he is such a, people all look up to him. So I'm doing educational leadership for my master's. And it is incredible to see how he is transforming leaders across the world to just know their why. Why are you doing what you're doing? And that's important because that will naturally, as Sue said, it'll get you up in the morning anyway.
True. And I think I spoke about this briefly in the uni review video. If you guys watched that, if you haven't watched it, definitely go and watch it. It's a really good guide for those of you guys going to uni, or if you're there already, that kind of thing. It's really knowing your why. It's amazing how everything comes full circle. I mean, I was gonna get there, but they're like, this is it right there. Paste it. It is down on the paper, and now I can reference all of those things. You see, this is why you draw on other people's ideas, but don't plagiarize. Don't do that. You will fail. Yeah. No, honestly, and I think it's really just figuring out why you're doing what you're doing, and that's something whether. Yeah, okay, I'll say this is something, I don't know why it's coming to my mind, but people that are looking to improve their body, whether they're going to the gym to get large or lose weight or whatever, dude, know your why. Why are you going to the gym every day? Why are you eating a certain, why are you following a certain diet? That kind of thing. Know your why. And yeah, that is incredible. I think at the end of the day, my why is literally, I just want to change the world in as many ways as I can. And I said, eventually I want to become an astronaut, and I'd like to, venture into space, into the place of so many uncertainties. And now everyone will just pick me up. They'll be like, yes, gas him up. Yes.
I think that know your why also ties into the whole idea of knowing what you're fighting for, or knowing what your end goal is. They always say it in Allo, you always got to set goals for yourself. Setting a goal for yourself and knowing what you're going to achieve and how you're going to do it is something that really does help when it comes to being diligent or self-motivating, just to do something different in your life, or to put in the graft for that test you have to write, or going out of your comfort zone to achieve something.
Yeah, no, true. I definitely agree with that. And I think, that's something that we need to remind ourselves of every day. Know your why, and just, go out there. Have fun, though. Life is full of fun. There's so many things to be done, so many things to be enjoyed. And don't shy away from anything because you think it might be challenging. Go out of your comfort zone.
Don't wait for tomorrow, because it might not be there.
Oh, yes.
You got to live
very true. Very true. Guys, I think, we've spoken about a lot of stuff here today. We've spoken about, Mrs. Fielding, an incredible person. We've had her here joining us for the podcast. The first time that you're actually seeing her here on the channel. It's actually not in person. I mean, virtual. In the virtual. Oh my goodness. Now I think we're going to need to start making VR Discord podcasts. That will be some other level. But that's for another time. Please do make sure to go and check out all of the links in the description. I'm just going to, link everything. Everything's going there. Go and check out every single one in order. Go and check it out. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Fielding. Thank you, guys. From Romes, Rahul, Sue, Julian, and Mrs. Fielding, of course. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming out, watching the podcast. I know it seemed like it was a bit all over the show, but I'm telling you, like, the hype levels for this were insane. There is no scale that can rate it. But I'd like to thank you all for coming out. Thank you so much for watching. Please do make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're really close to 250 subs, and we are making moves. Awesome things are coming. You would have seen The Last of Us. The video series is going to continue for a very long time. You can go ahead, watch it just like a TV show. You can watch it sort of as part of a routine. And I'm sure you guys will really enjoy it. We've got Julian editing that as well, absolute tank. And yeah, it's amazing how everything has come together. We've had so many people, and the channel has become so much more than just me. Just that one guy, recording the TV with a camera on top of a box and then books.
On a pile of books.
Yeah, but thank you so much, guys, for coming out. I'll leave you on that very funny note. And you know what? Thank you. We'll see you next time. And this has been the OG Squadcast, proudly presented by Shen63 Gaming. We'll catch you next time. Cheers.